Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin and Sleeping Warrior. Good to have you all.
Yo. I think everybody else is dead.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
We got a hum.
Sky, stars, moon, usual stuff.
Somebody's humming. Who's that? Is that you, Chocolate?
I don't know.
Good
Could
start.
be. Hold on.
You hear us, Aaron, or have you disappeared for a cup of coffee? I've disappeared
That
for a cup
better.
of coffee. All right, okay. We'll get back to you when you come back. Right, let's rattle our way through housekeeping with or without Arwin. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
Oh,
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
nope.
Any evidence of a gas pressure without a container?
Nope.
Negative.
Any proof of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Nope.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Not at all.
What about any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
What about the presupposition itself? Any evidence of our Earth radius, gentlemen?
Nope.
Nope.
Seriously? We got through housekeeping without a single row. That's the
Yeah.
first. That's got to be a first. Excellent.
I know. We could have done it quicker if you'd have been more responsive when we said no. I mean, you hung on for a little bit there in the hope that there might have been a... But there wasn't.
You never know. There might be an answer. Chocolate might have found curvature. He might have found axial rotation. He might have found gas pressure without a container. He might have found the distance to the sun. He might have found proof of gravity. For all we know, he's got proof of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth and proof of radius, for all I know. Have you got any of those things, Chocolate?
That would have been a hell of a night. No, I haven't found any of that shit.
Me neither. Me neither. Nobody has.
Have you heard the latest gossip on the grapevine? Ali B, our friend that believes in satellites, orbiting or whatever. I don't know what. Remember when Ali B joined and we had a weird conversation where he was talking about how you don't have any evidence to suggest that they can't exist and stuff like that. And I was like, what? He's doing a hangout and it's entitled Going Back to the Ball, guys. And I'm like, what? I don't know whether that's like a joke or whether it's serious. Just saying.
Do you have a question mark after that or something?
I'm going to see if I can find it now. Let me just see. It came up in my side thing before, and I didn't quite know whether he was being serious or not. I can't find his channel at the minute. There's a lot of Ali Bs. How does he spell Ali? A-double-L... A-double-L-Y, is it?
Yeah, A-double-L-Y.
A-double-L-Y-B. I'll have to look in my subs list because there's too many Ali Bs. There's a lot of Ali Bs. But yeah, he says he's going back to the ball, he says. And I'm like, what? I was really surprised when I saw it. I don't really know what he means. I'm assuming it's tongue-in-cheek, but maybe not. Right, so Chris and Ali, semicolon, going back to the ball, people. Scheduled for the 9th, which is today at 1900.
Who's Chris?
Oh, it's Chris F.E. Jackson. Right. Not quite, so it won't be then, but I don't quite know what he's mean. Chris F.E. Jackson's a really well-spoken gentleman. He's very quiet, and he doesn't raise his voice, and he lets people raise their voice, but he doesn't get excited, and he's a really, really nice guy. So it's on Chris F.E. Jackson's channel. At Chris and Ali, going back to the ball, people. That'd be interesting.
Could be just him going back to examine the failings of the ball, for all we know.
Could be.
Who knows?
Not quite sure, but it's interesting that he...
The last thing I said to Ali was go and have a look at Dilly Gill, and I shared the video with him, and I told him, look, you're going to have to dedicate a reasonable amount of time to this if you're going to look into how NASA have progressed and mapped the CGI we currently see today. You know, Dilly Gill has basically got an explanation from zero-G planes, filming stuff in free fall, bubbles of water and hair and necklaces and all that kind of stuff on the STS missions, to doing the mapping in non-real time, so in post-production, like you do the CGI for Jurassic Park or something. You know, you film something, then you add the CGI afterwards. Well, he shows how they did that. Then he shows how they get an overlap between CGI and live broadcast. So how they do a separate feed that's going to go to production at a later date, or go to post-production at a later date to be tarted up for general consumption on a television screen, but they would still show a fake ceiling, a crappy, what did he call it, crapovision view in this live studio audience with a very small screen and the audience no closer than 30 feet away from this tiny screen and the presenters with their backs to it. But he shows how they faked it in that way with the two different camera angles. Then he shows how they've then progressed onto current CGI, mapping it in real time. That's why we get all the digital effects and garbage all over it, because it's being mapped in real time. So he shows the whole lot. That's Dilly Gill, Dillyllygill. And Dilly Gill has exposed the whole thing. He's done a hell of a lot of research, and he's currently kind of paralleling some of the stuff that Jeran from Jeranism is doing by actually making Freedom of Information Act requests for some of this space footage. He's very detailed about what he wants, and you can see it all on his channel, so check him out. I couldn't recommend any NASA debunker higher than Dilly Gill.
Can you share a link?
Say again?
I want to check that out.
I'll share a link. Yeah, I'll stick it in the chat box now. Just give me a second.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, I may have something new to the housekeeping list. And I think since Bill Miller showed up in chat the other day, that he can be scratched off the list, and I'd like to place M. Scott Veach on it. Any signs of M. Scott Veach, because
I'm up for that.
Seems to be missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a rumor that's got absolutely no evidence whatsoever for it at all, and nobody can corroborate it. But I've heard a rumor that an astronaut has been killed in a vacuum accident in one of the vacuum testing labs, and I'm just wondering if it's M. Scott Veach, and I'm just wondering if it sucked his eyeballs out of his head, because he's gone missing. He doesn't seem to be around anymore, and it's like, was he a paid shill, or has he actually been the astronaut that's got no evidence to support it, that's been killed by NASA somehow accidentally in a vacuum chamber?
This was actually confirmed by the rig in yesterday's chat feed, so go back and check if you think I'm lying. He said he hasn't spoken to him in 2 weeks. He's like completely off the radar, gone.
Well, would you expect the rig to speak to M. Scott Veach?
No, he was. That's the point. He said he'd spoken to him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but does that mean he was in regular contact? I mean, I've not spoke to Antonio for 12 months, but I know he's still alive.
We don't know M. Scott Veach is alive.
I know, but what I mean is, how often did the rig speak to M. Scott Veach? Was it daily, weekly, monthly? Is it out of an ordinary pattern kind of thing? I'm just saying, how do we know? I mean, he's definitely missing. He seems to be AWOL.
Regularly enough to know that he hasn't been in contact for 2 weeks.
Yeah, has anybody been in contact with M. Scott Veach? Not that we're concerned. It's not a welfare call. It's just, is he actually alive? Because I wonder whether he has been killed in a vacuum testing experiment where his eyeballs got sucked out of his head.
Yeah, I'd like to confirm that this is definitely not a welfare call.
No, we're not interested really. We're just curious and more than welfare.
Guys, Multi TomTom in chat says M. Scott Veach is on the ISS.
Yeah. Can you imagine if he turned up on an ISS feed? That would be excellent trolling. That would be the world's best trolling. M. Scott Veach on an ISS feed.
Or maybe he would appear there. Who knows?
That would be fantastic. Can you imagine if he turned up and he put some kind of tip of the cap to you? You know, like I don't know, a picture of Nathan Oakley in 1980 on the background or something, so that you knew it was him, and he didn't tell you it was him, and we just knew it was him. That would be cool trolling.
Maybe he would actually come live streaming on the show, on the panel.
Maybe you'd phone in the show and say,
ISS.
from the ISS
Right,
feed live.
I'm going to do a shout out. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but so Tim Osman has done some trolling with his scammers. I'm sure you've seen him do scam trolling. Well, he had my name in the title of one of his scam trolling shows, and what he was doing was calling up Indian scammers and asking them for proof of R, pointing out that it's just a presupposition while he was doing his scam baiting. Now, obviously I've gone to it going, oh, what now? And then I've watched it, and it's not often that I literally just piss myself laughing. And I thought that was some of the best trolling I've seen in quite some time. You know, that takes skill to troll to that level, to descend what we're doing into farce that well. That's skill. So for all those assholes out there that think they can troll, you can't. You know, my hat is off to Tim Osman. I can't believe I'm saying it because I hate the guy. Well, I don't hate him. I'm indifferent to him. But you know what I mean? He's not exactly a friend of mine. I wouldn't want to shout him out. But for that level of skill trolling, that's worth a shout out, in my opinion.
Yeah, shout out retracted. Listen, I've got another request. I've been asked by somebody that I haven't spoken to for ages, but he is around. Do you remember a bloke called Dawn Treader UK?
I do.
He's got a video about atheist Rex, and he's asked me to ask you, would you watch it? Because he thinks it's got credible stuff in it. And I said he won't be interested in it. And the reason why I don't think you'll be interested in it is because it's just drama. I have watched it a little bit, and it's just basically atheist Rex being an asshole to somebody. I don't know who it is or what the background to it is. He's just been horrible. And I think Dawn wants you to look at it to see what your view is on ball earthers being horrible to flat earthers for no reason. And I said, I don't think he's going to be interested. He said, but please ask him anyway. I said, Dawn, I said, he'll just block you. And he said, no, just ask him. And so I said, right, okay, I'll ask him. So Nathan, would you tell Dawn whether you find any value in atheist Rex being horrible to a flat earth female for no apparent reason? Would you see that as like valuable?
I think I've seen the clip. It's equal opportunities, sexes, doesn't matter. So what if she's a woman? If she's
no, I think it was more the fact that it was a ball earther being horrible. No, it wasn't to do with it being to a woman. It was to do with the ball earther being horrible for no reason. The fact that she's a woman was irrelevant in this on this occasion. That wasn't his point.
I'll check it out. Send me the link. I'll have a look now if you want. If you can chat amongst yourselves.
No way. I said you wouldn't be interested at all.
If you'd have asked me off air, I'd have just said I don't care. But you've asked me on air, so what am I going to do? Say screw you?
Right. Okay, then I'll have to send you the link now. Damn you, Dawn. Where is it? I'll send it because now you've asked for it, and now I've got to do something.
Stick it on Skype, and literally I'll go and mute you if you guys can talk amongst yourselves. Hopefully, it's not 10 minutes long.
No, I think it's about 2 minutes.
Perfect. I'm sure you can entertain yourselves for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Where
is it? Sure.
Sometimes I go on mute when my kid's screaming her head off, and I think, please don't let there just be dead air. And sure enough, you know, conversation runs dry, and I'm like, oh god, jeez. Just talk.
Well, it's because we don't realise that you've gone off, and we're expecting you to come back on and carry on a conversation, and then we realise that you're not.
It's not like that. If
you know what though, it's better than announcing to the world that you need to go to the toilet, right? Because then that's what Ranty did the other night.
Ranty. On Ranty's stream, he's obviously had a couple of drinks, but you don't announce that you're going to the toilet. It's just not necessary. If you're going to be away from the keyboard, you can just tell them in the side chat, the people on the panel, AFK, and that's all that's needed. You don't need to broadcast something that's going to be permanently embedded on your channel with you going, yeah, I'm just going to the toilet. No need.
The thing is, we know that if you're too long, we know why you've gone to the toilet too. You have to be there and back within 2 minutes, so we know.
don't now do this on my channel.
Shout out to Ranty.
It's one of them. If she's into something and she shouldn't be, and I've got to jump over, I'm just going to stick myself on mute and sort her out. I'm not going to go, just bear with me 1 second, guys, while I sort out the near-death experience my child is putting herself in. You know, that's not going to happen. It's just, I'm just going to run and deal with her. Not that she's here at the moment.
Just don't mute and give her a slap. I'm sorry, I'm only joking.
Yeah. Just leave my mic open the whole time. If I left the mic open the whole time, I'd literally have people accusing me of torturing her, because she's screaming a lot of the time at this time because she's tired. This is nap time. And if anybody's got kids out there, know exactly what I'm talking about. They scream their heads off when it comes to night time. Nap time, rather.
Shout out to all the left-wing Nazis out there. Where are you? There you go. There's the link that Dawn sent to me. So consider yourself informed, and Dawn, consider yourself. I did what I said I'd do, even though I didn't think I would. Tell you what's interesting. While Nathan has a moment, yesterday we did the show where we showed the evidence that didn't show that my microphone was doing anything, and we showed, in fact, that all the sound came from Geostreber's mic. Now, apparently, the Ballers all had a conversation on some hangout somewhere. I think it was on Red's channel, Red's Rhetoric's channel. And I was told, like midway through or partway towards the end of it, or whenever, that by Geostreber, that at the end of the hangout, that they would be uploading it on the Redshift channel, and they would all take from it the segment that they wanted to provide some reasonable doubt, make it a bit muddy, to make it inconclusive. And nothing's happened. And I'm like, well, where is this evidence that you guys now try and whatever? And it doesn't seem to exist. But I noticed that Shawn's put a hangout for later, and he's calling today's hangout damage limitation or damage control. And I'm like, what planet are you on, Shawn? There is no damage for us to control at all. We can sit here and gloat in your demise for trying to hide and sweep under the mat the lies of Geostreber. You tried to bury evidence in the same way that our government tried to bury evidence with the Hillsborough disaster. That's how bad you've been. Hiding evidence is different to being wrong on the internet. Let's be honest. George Netanyahu rang Brian Mullins licensing people because he felt he was wrong on the internet. Well, we felt that Geo was wrong, and we didn't do that. We approached Geo and called him a lying sack of shit. But then what you did, Shawn, was you then tried to sweep it under the mat and pretend that it didn't exist and that, this wasn't what the way it was. But turns out, what do you know? We were right. That conversation recorded in the background was from Geostreber. And you tried to hide it, and that's a foul. What you've done is way worse. So I don't know why you think that this is a damage limitation hangout. It seems like a non sequitur conclusion that only a moron could come to. What actually this is a hangout where we can gloat in your dishonesty and your crap skills at audio guy skills, and your crap skills in Audacity. And we can just sit here and preen our chests like the lions that we are. You're the liar. We're the lion.
Okay, so I've watched his rubbishy video. I don't really see... What's your question about it?
He just asked, were you interested in it? And I said, I don't think he's going to be interested in it. It's just somebody having a bad day or whatever. I don't know what the background to it is, and I don't think it matters. But I think he wanted to know whether or not he thought it was valuable in some way. And I said, Dawn, there's enough nonsense info out there. I don't think he's going to be interested, but I'll ask him.
I mean, it's an edited video, so I can't get the context of anything. It's just a string of ad hominem attacks from Atheist Rex at somebody I can't hear. But he's saying things like, I've explained it 1,000 times, you dumb bitch, why can't you get it? So if I don't have the context of what he's saying, if it's a point that she doesn't get, then, he's saying she's dumb because she doesn't get something, which isn't really an ad hom at all if she genuinely doesn't get something. But with it just edited together, I don't know if she's actually got a winning point and it's just an ad hom because he hasn't got an argument. I have no idea, because it's just literally a string of ad homs edited together. So there's no context.
Yeah, I did like that line. He said that you've just given my ears an STD because I've had to listen to that rubbish. And I thought that was quite good.
Yeah,
but other than that, I didn't think that there was any value in it.
But without knowing what the rubbish was, or whether or not it was rubbish, you can't really give an opinion. I mean, I will attack people for their stupidity and call them various different insults, but it is attached to a winning argument. Someone won't just come on the panel and just be called an idiot. It's normally when you've tried to explain something 5 times. So, George, the Earth turns underneath the atmosphere. No, the bullet's got its own reference frame. Well, why doesn't it have its own reference frame on the roundabout example? Well, because there's 3 reference frames on the... No, there isn't. You're an idiot. Here's the explanation. You idiot. So there's a context to it. So, sorry, Dawn, you've taken it all out of context. It's just a string of insults that may not be insults if he's got a legitimate argument. I'm not defending Atheist Rex.
I think his point that they were just insults. I might be wrong, but
maybe they are. Like I say, I'd have to see it in context, but...
Yeah. Well, Dawn, I've done me a little bit.
I overheard you talking about soundly Geostreber and Shawn Hufford, and from what I was overhearing in the conversation, you're mostly focused on Shawn Hufford. And the bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, this is proven beyond reasonable doubt. Geostreber is guilty as sin and is still attempting to use his proxy, use his for the person
Proxy.
that you put in place that is Shawn. What's the word for that? It's not Patsy.
Proxy. You've got the right word, proxy.
Proxy, yeah, he's still using his proxy, and you're kind of buying it because I constantly hear you talking about Shawn. Yeah, he's the one doing the analysis on Audacity, but so what? He's got absolutely no skills, qualifications, or experience in this field whatsoever. He's not qualified to do what he's doing. 2 qualified sound engineers have analysed it and said this isn't complicated. It's just a spectral analysis of the 2 mics, and fortunately, because they're so different, the 2 microphones, it's glaringly obvious who's talking when and which mic's open. It hasn't taken us a long time to do this. Here's the results. This is when Anthony's mic's open. This is when Geostreber's mic's open. The sound comes through when Geostreber's mic's open because the frequency range is limited by his shitty mic that is known to cause bleed. So that's the situation. Anybody with an ounce of discernment, but they don't even need discernment. It's obvious. You don't even need to discern anything. It's being put in front of you in black and white. It's Geostreber's mic. To take their narrative, which is to say that you are playing a hangout that contains Shawn and Soundly in the background that happens to leak through and sound like a contemporaneous conversation between Geostreber and Soundly, where Soundly's giving a response to a question and they haven't actually provided that hangout. They've just gone and introduced a load of muddy waters. Look, if we increase the game by 400%, you've got so much background noise, it all looks the same, and therefore Anthony's mic's playing. It's like, no, what are you talking about? 2 professional sound engineers have analysed it and said this isn't rocket science. This is very simple. You can see the frequency range of each mic. If it's coming out with that frequency range, it's that mic. When Soundly speaks, it's coming out with a very limited frequency range because it's a headset mic. It's Soundly speaking through Geo's mic. So Soundly and Geostreber, because you've got this incompetent fool, Shawn, trying to muddy the waters, you're focused on that. And as far as I'm concerned, it's done deal. Geo's guilty. Soundly's guilty. These 2 people are frauds. They have and are lying through their back teeth still. Well, focus on Geo, you lying sack of shit, because Geo is still lying. He knows he's done this. Everybody watching knows he's done this. It's been proven that he's done this. The frequency range that is being used is Geo's frequency range, and your mic's closed. Now, anybody who's worked in sound and has got any experience in it will know this to be true. Anybody who hasn't just needs the explanation for 5 minutes and they can see that it's true.
The problem I've got, though, is without Shawn muddying the waters, Geo wouldn't be able to defend this. And he knows that he had the hangout with Soundly. He would have to admit it. It's only for Shawn muddying waters that this is going on as long as it is. And you're right to point out that he's not qualified. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's trying to muddy waters. And what he's trying to do is move the focus away from the sound that is recorded and look into the blackness of the space above it where there's nothing recorded, and then amplify the shit out of it and say, hey, look, we found pixels.
No, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. That's like you focusing on the radar. It's not what's going on at all. Yeah? It's a sleight of hand. The problem they have is they've claimed it's a hangout that you are playing. That you are playing the sound of Soundly. That's what they're claiming. So prove it. Prove that that's Soundly in a hangout, not talking to Geostreber, but actually in a different hangout. You've had 3.5 weeks to do it. You've said that you've gone through, there's so many hangouts, even though Anthony's proven beyond any doubt whatsoever that this could be done in a day if it was real. But you've not. All you've done is focused on the sound. Now we've conclusively debunked that. Mike and our mystery sound engineer have gone through it and said this isn't complicated. It's Geostreber's mic. It has a limited frequency range. Here it is in black and white. There you go. Job's a good one. No argument. Shawn's come along and gone, I know nothing about sound. I have no professional expertise in sound. I am actually involved with this because I'm claiming it's me in the recording talking to Soundly on a hangout we haven't provided. But trust me, I'm not biased. Trust me. I don't know anything about sound. Trust me. I've not ever worked in a sound environment or been paid to do so. I'm not a professional sound engineer, but trust me, because I've got Audacity. And I'm audio guy. So trust me. Well, no, we don't trust a word you say, Shawn. We've already proven that you're a liar and you can't even quote people correctly. So your credibility is zero, Shawn. Now, if people choose to have confirmation bias and want to believe Soundly and Shawn and Geostreber, then more fool you. That just makes you an idiot for being taken in by liars. Well, good for you. You want to be taken in by liars and feel foolish while we laugh at you? we will continue to laugh at you. Now, the tone has changed. Nobody's saying, Soundly's been proven not to be coming through Geo's mic. It's Anthony's. Look, Soundly's been proven it's on Anthony's soundtrack by Shawn. Nobody's saying that anymore. Now they're saying, well, what does it matter? No big deal. Because everybody knows blatantly they're lying. Even the ballers know it. So everybody out there saying no big deal, oh, right, well, we'll make it a big deal. We won't let it lie. In fact, I'll escalate it.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex Nicole, you've lied to the world. You're lying now. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you want this to escalate? Keep lying. We know you're lying. We've proven you're lying. You've not provided the hangout, and we've proven using your tactics that it's not Anthony's mic that the sound's coming through. So you want to carry on lying about it, Alexander Nicole, then we will escalate this. No problem. Keep lying to us, you sack of shit.
Well, what's interesting is the shift in the mindset of the ballers. Prior to yesterday, it was all, yeah, Riley, Shawn's proved it. It was your mic, yada, yada, yada. And now it's not, well, Shawn's proven it, so you've proven it, and I'm a bit confused. I'm not quite sure, but it's blatantly obviously Geo, but I don't want to admit that, but it probably is Geo. Now it's, well, how important is it anyway? And it's like, oh, right, so when it was against me, you were happy to accept that it was true. But now it's not against me and it's against Geo. Shut up. You're asking the credibility of the claim itself. Seems a little bit double standards. Right, I'm going to have to go and let these out for a wee. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
No worries.
Now you're doing it.
Yeah, this has been done beyond any reasonable doubt now. You know, to continue lying about it is an outrage.
Yeah, but we know these guys aren't going to come clean. They're not going to do that.
That's fine. As long as they continue lying about it, we can continue talking about it. Pointing out where they lie. And I still encourage people to do the same. You know, go to Geostreber's channel and point out the details of this. Say, we know it was your mic, Geo. Your mic's got a limited frequency range. It could only be your microphone. Where's the hangout that you claim that was playing by Anthony? Where's that, please? You've claimed that it's a hangout Anthony's playing. So for some ridiculous reason, you expect your audience to believe that Anthony's got sound coming through his mic. Not that he's got any association. Geostreber, obviously very associated with Soundly. He's there helping him lie about it. Right? He's on the show talking about this recording. So these two, who are directly associated with each other and talking to each other on a hangout about this hangout, we're expected to believe that that guy talking to Geostreber was actually coming through Anthony's microphone. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous before two sound engineers came along and proved that was incorrect. Proved beyond any doubt that it's absolutely Geostreber's microphone and the frequencies that it's limited to that's playing Soundly sound. You had a point in the hangout yesterday that they demonstrated where Anthony clicks his mouse. Yeah? And it's louder, the sound of Anthony's mouse is, quieter than the sound of Soundly. It's a really small sound, but because it's being picked up by the mic, it's picking up all the ambience of the room as well, and it still records it in that frequency range, the wider range of Anthony's Blue Yeti. When Soundly talks, it's limited to 9K. That's what you get, because that's what a shit mic that bleeds, that has a known issue for bleeding sound. That's what his mic's doing, a limited frequency range with his cheap mic. So your cheap mic is what's caught you out, Geo. Your cheap mic that has a known issue for bleeding sound from the earpiece into the mic. Yeah? You think we're expected to believe that it wasn't your sound that's bleeding through your mic with that known issue with the person that you're associated with that was talking to you when trying to debunk this assertion. You're expecting us to believe that sound was coming through Anthony's mic. Alright, where's the hangout then? Where's the hangout you claim he was playing? So far, Shawn's claimed it was absolutely his hangout. Definitely my hangout. No, Shawn, you've now declared that it's not your hangout. Well, why were you wrong? Are you incompetent? Where is the hangout that you claim it to be? How much longer do you need to find this hangout? Will you ever find this hangout? No. We've already proved beyond any reasonable doubt that this was just Soundly talking to Geo. If it wasn't enough hearing him say, is it down here, right? Yeah, and go back to that citation he cites. Yeah, if it wasn't enough that it was contemporaneous, no gap in between the sentence, a direct response to a question asked by Geostreber, if that wasn't enough, It's then been analysed by 2 sound engineers to prove it was coming through his mic in the limited frequency range that Geostreber has. So nobody's in any doubt about this. It's like, if you want to believe a incompetent, somebody with no experience, a pure amateur who's declaring that 2 professional sound engineers are wrong about their very basic assessment of a basic need to actually analyse this. It's not complicated. They've said, this is easy. It didn't take us very much time. You can easily ascertain whose mic's open. And that's precisely what they've done. But you want to believe Shawn? Oh, go ahead. It just makes you a muppet if you believe Shawn.
And what a muppet you would be. Let's remember.
I think audio guy is in the chat.
Why don't you join, Shawn, and you can defend yourself?
Yeah. What are you sitting in the chat for, bro?
I heard that there was a hangout that doesn't seem to be public anymore for some reason. I don't know why it's not public. Perhaps they've had a change in mind. But what Shawn really wants to do is amplify the hell out of the background, just put something there that wasn't there before and ignore the noise that was there in the foreground. That is the noise that we hear. That's a foul. That's not what you need to look where the evidence is, Shawn, not look to where the evidence isn't to try and create some evidence. That's dishonest. Shawn, don't ever point the finger of dishonesty at me again, you little worm.
I think Mike summed it up. If you're going to claim that you're a professional audio guy, there's going to be people who are professional audio guys that go, really? Oh, okay, well, let's see how good you are then. Let's test your skill at audio. Oh, what do you know? You have no skill. Oh, well, let's take Alan B's questioning. What actual professional experience do you have? Oh, none. None whatsoever. Oh, right. You work in Walmart, do you? Well, that's not professional experience in sound engineering now, is it? That's just some tosser in their bedroom that declares they're an audio guy, while professional sound engineers come along and actually show how you do it and humiliate you. You complete idiot. I would be ashamed if I were you, Shawn. I would feel so embarrassed at the absolute ridiculous assertions you have made without any skills, without any qualifications, without any experience, and in the face of professionals who know what they're doing. What a wanker.
Before we went live on that recording that we did yesterday, I asked the guys that were doing the hangout with me, how difficult is this to do? And they said it's really easy. He said, but it's knowing that that's what you need to do first. That's the hard bit. That's the skill. He said, if you know what you're doing, he said, it takes you about 30 seconds of thinking what's because there's many ways that you can manipulate the audio to either filter out or to emphasize or to reduce or whatever. And it's knowing the one that you need. So there's like thousands of things that you can do, but there's only one that gives you the answer. And it's knowing that one technique. He said, so the technique itself's not that difficult to do. He said, it's like a car. You've got a fault on your car. He said, there's thousands of things it could be, but there's only one thing that it is. And he said, and if you know that one thing, you can charge a fortune for your work. And he said, and that's the whole point of being a sound engineer. He said, that's what we do. He said, we know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to achieve what we're trying to achieve. And he said, on this one, he said, all it was, you needed to isolate the two frequencies of the 2 mics that were in the hangout. He said, and that's really easily done. He said, but you need to know that to be able to do it. And he said, and the way that Shawn was doing it, he said, that's clearly wrong. He said, that's not getting you the answer that you want. And I said, but is that intentional? And he said, depends on whether you think he's being dishonest or not. And I can't see a guy that passes himself off to be an audio guy to not know that this will be the answer if it's a really simple thing to do, unless he can claim ignorance, unless he can complain, unless he can, what's the word I'm looking for? Incompetence, unless he can successfully persuade people that it was actually incompetence and there was no deceit intended. But that requires a confession, and he's never going to do that either. So either way, he's fucked, because he's got to address either incompetency or why he's led everybody to a muddy puddle that didn't exist in the first place. And that's because these ballers are all dishonest, all of them. You've got Geo lying in the background with Soundly, and now you've got Shawn that's hiding it, burying it no matter what. And you have to ask yourself the question, well, why? Why would you do this? And it's because he will jeopardize anything and everything, because he doesn't want to concede anything for starters. And he does want to prove that I'm wrong, and that his mate is correct, and that there was no hangout in the background. But like Nathan says, you can hear it. He says, where is it? Down here, right? And then the next thing out of Soundly's mouth is, yeah, and go back to that definition he cites. I mean, most of us can make that opinion without having to go to the lengths that Shawn's pushed it to. But he's pushed it and he's made us prove our case, and now we have. And it puts everything into perspective. You ballers are all liars, cheats, thieves, dishonest. Call it what you want. So all the things that you call us, Shawn and Soundly and Geostreber, are all that now. And we can prove it with the evidence, and we've shown it. And to be honest, I'm just glad that there's closure on that point. But let's remember the context. This point in hand is still the tangent. Doesn't really prove anything, right? It does prove our side. It proves that my mic was shut. But their claim, as Nathan pointed out, is that there was a hangout in the background. So where's the hangout? You don't need to have this audio analysis nonsense anymore, Shawn. You're incompetent. What you need to do is find the hangout. And that's the only way to get around this audio nonsense that you've created. So find the hangout, find the bit where Soundly says what he says, and make it word for word match what was heard in the thing. Well, then you'll prove us wrong.
I think what we can now conclude from the audio analysis is that you may be right, Globeheads. Here's your crumb of solace. You might be right. It might be a hangout being played by Geostreber, as it would absolutely have to be, bearing in mind that the limited frequency range in which it's being captured in is only Geostreber's microphone. It can only be Geostreber that was playing a hangout in the background. So, I'm going to now turn the tables on you, Globeheads. Ask Geostreber which hangout he was listening to, just to make your life easier, because it wasn't coming through Anthony's mic. It was definitely coming through Geostreber's. So, Geostreber, it's been claimed that you were playing a hangout. There's a hangout being played. You know there was a hangout being played on Shawn's channel. Oh, my bad. Shawn's now rescinded that, hasn't he? And said that it's not on his channel. He was wrong. Because he's wrong a lot. Because he's incompetent. So, the person involved with this hangout, the hangout that apparently you were listening to, Geo, because it was your mic that was open, that would be a hangout where? Where is it? Where's the evidence of this hangout? Have you provided it, Geostreber? Or are you just lying? We know you're lying, because you've blamed Anthony for playing something in the background and got Shawn to back that lie. It wasn't, it was you. Two professional sound engineers have proven it beyond any doubt. So, you better come up with that hangout pretty quick, sharp, pronto, because you're a fraud. We know you're being fed. It's obvious you're being fed. You ask him a question and he answers. Only a complete idiot would believe you at this point. And anybody who does believe Geo is an idiot. Geo's just a moron that needs help from Soundly. We all know it.
I suppose I should really be flattered that he felt the urge to do it. He couldn't do it one-to-one like most people do. He had to do it. I mean, let's be honest, right? Again, I'll restate the point. We knew that they were doing this anyway. Didn't always know exactly when. We didn't have evidence to prove it, but now we do. Thank you very much. But it just tells people that Geo can't take me on his own. And if he does take me on his own, he needs that little bit of help. Well, I didn't do that, did I? Oh, and let me just point out that I was sat there on silent because my mic wasn't picking anything up. And my mic, that means I was sat there being a good little boy, not doing anything. That's what was happening.
We've got more people like Lenny Harry trying to muddy the waters, saying that in the last 5 minutes of the video. Who gives a crap what happened in the last 5 minutes of the video? There's a section where Geostreber asks Soundly for help and he gets it. That sound was coming through Geostreber's mic. Address that, Lenny Harry. What about that? What about the contemporaneous conversation between Geostreber and Soundly? You're going to ignore that? Focus our attention to a different part of the hangout other than the conversation they were having? No. They were having a conversation, Lenny. It's obvious. He asks him a question and he gets an answer. The sound was definitely coming through Geo's mic. The situation is not unclear. Geostreber was being fed by Soundly and is now lying through his back teeth about it. Continuing to lie through his back teeth about it. Pulling others in to lie about it for him. We all know what's going on here. You don't need to push our attention elsewhere. We have a recording of him talking to Soundly. Alex Nicol was being fed by Soundly. It's not unclear. We don't need to look at any other part of the hangout.
I agree.
Where is it?
Isn't
Down
it nice
here,
to be in
right?
this position
Yeah, and go back to that definition he cites. Yeah, that's a conversation between two people. Not a hangout being played by Anthony. Can't be being played by Anthony. His mic was closed, otherwise the frequency range would be far more extensive. Unlike Geostreber's shitty mic that bleeds, that has a known technical issue for bleeding, and has bled. his conversation with Soundly that he needed in his ear whispering to him just to have a conversation with Anthony. That's the kind of retards you're dealing with. Frauds who lie. He's lied non-stop. We've proven he's completely wrong, completely lying, and he's continuing to lie. These are the people you've got to defend your globe. Why would you need liars, frauds and charlatans to defend something that's true? Why would you need that? The truth will set you free, right? The truth is most important. These people are out for truth, aren't they? No, the people defending the lie are liars. Like the lie itself. The globe is a lie. We don't live on a globe. It's a complete load of horse crap. And the people sent to defend it are liars.
Sorry, they've just come back in from being outside for weebies, and they're just all saying, pet me, pet me, pet me. Bit like your children or your child. There's moments where they just demand your attention. But yeah, the bottom line is this. It's quite clear to pretty much everybody that Geo was being fed. And we've been pushed to prove it. And thankfully, somebody came to my help. In fact, 2 people came to my help, both of which are sound engineers of some kind, both of which are qualified, both of which have paid money to be on the course and passed it and use it in some capacity later on in life. Bit of an age difference between them, but nonetheless, they both come up with the same results when they put it through professional engineering software and the same software that Shawn's got. And the problem is either Shawn doesn't know where to look in the software to make it do that, or does know where to look and has deliberately hidden it and led us all to a water that's basically a muddy puddle to create a load of nonsense. Well, that's called disingenuous. Can't do that, Shawn. You should be telling us the truth. But I think the truth beheaves you, and I don't think you know what the truth is. I think you will literally slur me no matter what, at all costs, especially when I'm attacking one of your friends. And on this occasion, I'm right. But where's the apology? Where's the concession? Does the truth not matter anymore, Shawn? Is it just about trying to create reasonable doubt no matter what? At any cost? Really? Not the truth? Right. I'll remember that. Don't ever point the finger of dishonesty at me, you little worm.
Yeah, none of us will forget this. No matter what assertion Geostreber, Soundly or Shawn make from this point, I will be the first to point out that they are liars, that they are proven liars. You know, there's going to be people out there that will do the same. They'll say, all right, well, I'll edit together a nice little video about how they lie and where they've lied. People who've gone, hopefully, prior to now to their comments and said to them, why were you being fed by Soundly, Geo? And they've hopefully got replies where he says, I wasn't being fed by Soundly. Oh, really? Well, why does the sound prove that your mic was open, your limited range? Why is it that your mic has got a known issue with bleeding sound? Why is it that a person that you're closely associated with sounds like they're talking to you? Why is it that you ask somebody who apparently is on a hangout that Anthony is playing in the background, gives you a response within a millisecond of you asking them a question, and the response is absolutely contemporaneous with the conversation? Why is it that they then give you further advice in a gap that you leave while your mic is open? Why, Geo? Is it because it's Anthony? Is it because it's Anthony in the wrong? Is it? No, Geo. No, Alex. No, Alexander Nicol. You're just a lying sack of shit. We all know it.
I'm just looking at a conversation in the background between the 2 engineer guys who are listening to the show right now, but they're chatting on Skype. And what they're saying is that if you do certain things, it makes certain things happen. And if you can boost Geo's mic by certain amounts, and you can do this, that, and the other, it means that what the conclusion is that Shawn just doesn't know what a spectrogram is or how it's used. So what they're doing is they're negating that he was being dishonest. They just don't. Shawn doesn't know what he's doing. But that's obviously without knowing what Shawn's like as a person. And I know the guy's an utter moron. I think that he's deliberately led everybody to this muddy puddle called white noise and deliberately tried to make it sound as though it's inconclusive. So don't look over here where the sound was recorded. Look over here where the sound hasn't been recorded, and we'll make something there that makes it ambiguous. No, Shawn, that to me is dishonest. It's disingenuous, right? Look to where the evidence is rather than where the evidence is not, and then try and create some. But they're saying that they don't think that you've been totally dishonest. They think that you just don't know what you're doing. I think that you do know what you're doing. I think you knew exactly what you were doing, and that's why you led everybody to the muddy puddle known as white noise.
Yeah, it's either incompetence, pure and sheer incompetence, which the fact that he has no qualifications, experience, has never had an education in this whatsoever, and has never worked in it professionally, would indicate that it's just incompetence. However, if it's not incompetence and he does want to know what he's doing, then he's laughing in your faces, audience, if you believe him. This is just Duper's delight. Look at this white noise. Yeah, that's all this is, Shawn, white noise. Yeah, right. What about the actual bit that's recorded? What about looking at the contemporaneous conversation between Soundly and Geostreber? Let's not look at the white noise, because that's all that is. White noise. Yeah, you want to put a bit of white noise in, do you? Yeah, that's what this is.
Guys,
how
I just
ironic.
Looked it up. Guys, white noise is not static noise. That is what I think you're describing. White noise is a specific type of sound that negates other things.
Yeah, but what Shawn's doing is looking into the depths of the blackness of the space in the background where there's no noise recorded, amplifying the hell out of it, and then saying, "Hey, look over here! Look, I found some noise." Well, you will do that if you turn it. I mean, he's amplified it by 40 decibels, right? 10 decibels doubles the volume, so 20 decibels doubles it twice. 40 decibels doubles it 4 times. So he's turned nothing into something, and then claimed that that's where the noise is, and he's completely ignored where the noise actually is. And then he's tried to create reasonable doubt, and I'm not allowing him to do that. The noise is not recorded in the black. The noise is recorded in the red, Shawn. That's where the noise is. Nowhere else.
His case was a total ghost story. Didn't have anything. It's just
That's why I didn't want to go down this particular route. It was more, for me, it was more prove the hangout that you think exists. I'm going to strangle that dog.
He's ridiculous, but white noise, specific thing. It's something. It's technology, and it's basically
the noise that he's referring to is called.
It's very interesting. I've heard about this even 20 years ago. It exists for some time now.
The noise that Shawn's referring to is automatically and naturally created by electronic devices. It's present in all hangouts, and if you amplify the shit out of nothing, you end up with like this scattergun approach where there's noise everywhere, and it's little tiny bits of noise that Shawn's trying to make people think is where we hear the noise. But he ignores the fact of where we do see the noise, the red bit below. That's where we see it, and it's capped at the frequency that the thingy's mic's at. So all the noise is capped below the threshold of where Geo's mic's on. But when you look at the mouse clicks,
sending us to chase ghosts.
When you look at the mouse clicks,
it is pathetic to even respond to it. To be honest.
When you look at the mouse clicks show that even though the mouse clicks are 15 decibels quieter than the sound that Soundly makes, they still appear on the full frequency of my microphone when my tiny little noises that are made on my mouse, when they come through, they use the whole frequency of my mic. But that doesn't happen with the sound that we hear on the Geostreber's mic. We only hear it limited to the frequency of microphone that he uses. That's why we know it's Geo. It's a good day to bash boulders when they make a massive hole and they fall into it. I think that Shawn actually gambled that we wouldn't be able to prove that my microphone was shut and got it wrong. And now he has to literally stand his ground no matter what. Utter garbage. And Shawn, I look forward to your angle tomorrow. I won't be watching it until after the event because I don't want to get involved in it directly. It's spewing nonsense. All you're doing is stirring the pot. And I'm not going to get involved in stirring the pot. The proof's there, and you can't debunk proof, mate. You can try muddy waters, but that's all it's going to be. It's muddying waters. And anybody that muddies waters is a disingenuous liar. You've got to accept the evidence as presented as proof, unless you can discredit the witnesses, which you can't because both of them are qualified higher than you, or unless you can discredit the application of the technique that they used. And again, both of them are qualified higher than you. So really, your hangout is basically going to be novice, amateur, enthusiast, sound guy, self-proclaimed, by the way, against 2 sound engineers, both of which got the same results using 3 pieces of software that they had access to, and then your one, Audacity. But we didn't show all 4 of them. We just showed 2, one of yours and then one of the other ones, to show that a professional piece would, on this occasion, do the same as what Audacity would. Doesn't always work, but this time it did. And because you have that Audacity and you use it, you either don't know what you're doing or you were deliberately obfuscating the point. And I think that you were deliberately obfuscating the point. I don't believe that you don't know what you're doing. I think you probably do know what you're doing to a degree. And I think this, given its simplicity and its ease of application, is probably within your skills. I just think that you've obfuscated the point the way that Rumpus does, the way that all of them do. It's kind of like a tactical foul. Like when Brandon Toy was in against Geo, and Rumpus realised that he was just about to destroy Geo's argument with his next statement, and Rumpus came out with a foul. Well, you've kind of done the same thing. You've tactically fouled because you know that Geo's guilty of the charge in which he's been charged. You know that Geo and Soundly were both complicit in having a hangout in the background, but you've covered it up. You're the one that's more deceitful than either of them two. Sure, they've had a hangout. We caught them. You know, in the bigger scale of things, so what? We know that they're doing it anyway. It's not that big of a deal, but you're the one that's hidden it. You're the one that's pushing out the truth. The truth as something else than what it actually is, and you're deliberately obfuscating the truth. It's wrong. You're a liar, Shawn. It's a good day to be a flat earther. Although there's no football on.
Why aren't we being trolled to all hell? Why aren't people
I want to
disagreeing
know
with us?
why.
Why isn't anybody coming on and saying? Why isn't
I'm
anybody coming on and
curious
saying
about
you're wrong?
I'm curious about something. Because audio guy keeps saying in chat something about that you guys are gonna hate his hangout because we keep bringing up Geo's limited frequency range. So
yeah, it's documented on Spectrograph.
So I'm trying to understand what would that have to do? Like,
oh well, I can show you. I'll screen share. Share that screen there. Let me know when you've got it up, Nath.
Yeah, ready when you are.
That one, I think it is. So this is what Shawn sent to me last night. Hide that out of the way. I can't really zoom into this. But this is what Shawn sent to me. And what he's done is he's changed the sensitivity of the slide. There's a slider bar that changes the sensitivity of the frequencies. And what it effectively does is amplifies the sounds. Now, it doesn't actually amplify the sounds. It just reduces or makes the sensitivity of the frequencies a lot more sensitive. And what the part in question, I believe, is either this part here or this part here. It matters not. The point is that what he's done is multiplied this by 40 decibels. So 10 is double the volume, 20 is double times 2, 30 is double times 3, 40 is double times 4. So what he's done is he's got the blackness of space above, multiplied it 4 times louder than what it was, which was nothing in the first place, and now he thinks there's something there. Now, if you keep amplifying nothing, you eventually get something, but it's nothing. You're amplifying nothing. You're getting nothing and multiplying it by nothing and still getting nothing, but you're getting a pictorial representation of nothing, but you've amplified the hell out of it. But what he's doing is he's ignoring the redness underneath. Now, if you keep amplifying nothing and nothing and nothing, eventually you get something, which is what he's doing. But by moving away from where the evidence is recorded into where the evidence is not recorded, that's a real big problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when, in the Hangout we played yesterday, this section here is where Geostreber was doing his work. But what the guys showed was that this section here, where these mouse clicks are, different section, but the point that he's making is that when I make a mouse click, the frequency bar goes right up to the range of the dynamic range of my microphone. So that even though the mouse click sounds like a single tone, it's not. It's using the whole frequency, and it's very quiet, but nonetheless, it's showing the whole frequency. Now, this is 15 decibels quieter than what the noise that we heard Soundly and Geostreber talking was. So this is how quiet this noise that is quieter, and it shows the full frequency. Okay, but when we played Geostreber's part, hopefully I'll get to it now. I'm not going to play it, by the way. I'm just going to show it because you don't even need to play it. Here we go. He's zooming in. So when we play Geostreber's part, you can see that it's capped in line with the cap of the microphone that Geostreber plays, but it doesn't go up to the frequency of mine. But we know that the mouse clicks do, which were 15 decibels quieter. So Shawn's going to amplify the hell out of the background in the hope of creating some doubt, but ignore the fact that my mouse clicks that are 15 decibels quieter show the full frequency when they're being clicked. That's a problem because it's dishonest. And that's why Shawn doesn't know what he's doing, claiming a debunk on the audio guys that do, and he's lying. He's literally lying. So I look forward to seeing the rehash when he gets it up, because if we have to, Shawn, we will rip it apart. because I've already been told by the two audio guys, if Shawn does this, it is dishonest because it's not doing what is true. What is true is the sound that we hear is measured at a certain decibel, which is sound the conversation. We've got mouse clicks off my microphone that my microphone did pick up. That's 15 decibels lighter, 15 decibels quieter, and it shows as a full frequency on my microphone path. And that's how they know it's my sound, my microphone click, my mouse click rather. But in this instance, you're talking about this section that's down here, which is only it's capped at the same volume, sorry, the same frequency. So the frequency is the same as what Geo's is. And if you amplify the hell out of it, you've got to look at where the sound is, Shawn, not where the sound is not, because there isn't anything there. So don't be dishonest. Otherwise, you're just going to dig yourself a deeper hole. And I'll be the first one to push you in it again tomorrow if you do. So be careful how you word this, Shawn. Be careful what you show, because these audio guys are real audio guys. You're a guy in your bedroom, and as good as your MIDI files may or may not be, you don't know what you're doing, and you're trying to muddy waters. But you're a liar, Shawn. So, yeah, do what you can. Do what you think's right. Let's see what truth you can pull out. But if you do this nonsense about amplifying 40 decibels the background where there's nothing in the fact, and then find all the native Hangout noise that's there on every single Hangout and amplify the hell out of it and end up with this, and then try and claim that this is the noise that we're listening to up here, but ignore the bit that's down here where the noise actually is, Shawn, it's not honest. Because if it was my microphone, it would be right up to the full frequency because it's noise. It's the fact that it doesn't go all the way up, Shawn, that's the problem. Don't you understand?
Good morning.
Hey, Jose. Good to have you. And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!